If you don't eat right and get the vitamins that you need, you're liable not to be a healthy person. But you could also make a racist with it. That's what we're going for. Joseph Paul Franklin.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Yes, that intro's not funny, but it is kind of funny. We're going to talk about Joseph Paul Frank, but his actual name was James Clayton Vaughn Jr. But this guy was also he was a peach when it comes to serial killers. But let us begin. James Clayton Vaughn Jr. was born in Mobile, Alabama on April 13th, 1950. Eldest son of James Clayton Vaughn Sr. and Helen Rue Vaughn. He had 2 sisters and a brother. Vaughn's father was a World War II veteran and a butcher who left the family when Vaughn was age 8. His sister Clayton recalled, whenever Vaughn Sr. came to visit, he'd beat us. And their mother had Vaughn Sr. jailed twice for public drunkenness. Vaughn's mother was described as a family friendly, as a full-blooded German, a real strict and perfectionist lady. I never saw her beat any of her children, but they told a different story. Vaughn later stated that he was rarely given enough to eat and suffered several physical abuse as a child. At his mother's "don't care about him and his siblings" attitude. He claimed that these factors stunned his emotional development, and he said that always been less 10 years or more behind other people in their maturity. As early as high school, Vaughn developed an interest in evangelical Christianity, then Nazism, and later held membership in both the National Social White People Party and the Ku Klux Klan. He eventually changed his name to Joseph Paul Franklin in honor of Paul Joseph Gable and Benjamin Franklin. In 1960s, Franklin was inspired by to start a race war after reading Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf, the one book that keeps on giving. Don't burn books, but some books should not be in existence anymore. But if you actually want to know, it is just all arounds of anti. It's just basically saying white people are, you know, should be the head of race. It's stupid. But but Joseph said, "I've never felt that way about any other book I've ever read." He later reflected, "It was something weird about that book." You know, after him saying this or reading him saying this, I always wondered that certain objects like Hitler's Mein Kampf, if it has like the energy of hatred, and some people just get intrusive in that. I mean, it's just something to think about. In the early 1970s, he took on the road trip to a American Nazi Party conference in Virginia with David Duke, then a student, and Don Black. And David Duke is just a Ku Klux Klan member. If you actually watch a movie called Black Klansman, they portray him in this, and it's not far off. But his crimes. For most of his life, Franklin was a drifter roaming from East Coast, seeking chances to cleanse the world of people he considered inferior, especially Black and Jews. His primary source of financial support appears to have been bank robberies. Franklin supplemented his income from criminal acts to paid blood bank donations, which eventually led to his successful capture by the FBI in 1977. The starting of his stuff, July 29th, 1977, Franklin firebombed Beth Salem Synagogue in Cincinnati, Tennessee, destroying it. Life loss were prevented because some of the worshipers left early that Friday evening, and as a result, there's not enough worshipers for a Maya, Menya. Let me get this right. Stephen Hawkins, please help me out on this one.
Minion.
Minion. That's so weird. That's how that's spelled. It's spelled Minya, but it pronounced minion. So, but it is a Jewish religious thing. August 7th, 1977, Franklin shot and killed a young interracial couple. Alfonso Manning Jr. and Tony Swaltz in a parking lot in Easttown Mall in Madison, Wisconsin. He was convicted of both murders and sentenced to prison to life. Which, we'll go through this thing. On October 8th, 1977, in the suburban St. Louis, Missouri, Franklin hid in the bushes near a Beth Solom Kenneth Israel synagogue and fired on a group of attendant services. And in this incident, Franklin killed 42-year-old Gerald Gordon. He was also wooden Steve Goldman and William Ash. On March 6, 1978, Franklin, according to his later account, used a Ruger .44 caliber semi-automatic rifle to ambush Hustler's publisher Larry Flint and his lawyer Gene Reeves in Lawrenceville, Georgia. In his confession, Franklin said this was in retaliation for an edition of Hustlers displaying interracial sex. Neither Franklin nor anyone else was ever charged in that shooting. Maybe you did it, maybe you didn't. And if you didn't know, Larry Flint was the publisher of Hustler, and when he was shot, he was confined to a wheelchair. In July 29th, 1978, Franklin hid near a Pizza Hut in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and shot and killed Brian Tatum, a black man, with a 12-gauge shotgun. He also shot Tatum's white girlfriend, Nancy Hilton, who survived. Franklin later confessed and pleaded guilty, and he was given a life sentence as well as a sentence for an unrelated robbery in 1977. How is he doing this if he had a life imprisonment is beyond me. We'll get to that. In July 12th, 1979, Taco Bell manager Harold Cleaver, a black man, was fatally shot through a window from 150 yards in Dorville, Georgia. Franklin confessed but was not tried and sentenced for this crime. Franklin said that Megler was in close contact with white women, so he was murdered. God, I hate people that. This guy's an idiot. Franklin killed Jesse E. Taylor, a black man, and his white wife, Mathurin. Marin. Stephanie, I can't get this name right. Marion. Sorry, my dyslexia kicked in high gear and I couldn't get the name right. Marion Bresson in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. In May 29th, 1980, Franklin confessed to shooting and seriously wounding civil rights activist and Urban League president Von Jordan. After seeing him with a white woman in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Franklin initially denied any part in this crime and was acquitted, but later confessed. Got away with it, but you said you did it. Just some people. Anyways, July 8th, 1980, Franklin killed cousin Daryl Lane and Dante Evans Brown in Cincinnati, Ohio, waiting on an overpass to shoot a racial mixed couple. He shot the boys instead, a crime in which he later confessed. He was convicted in 1998 and received 2 licenses for these murders. Okay, so they just found out about these murders. Okay. In June 15th, 1980, Franklin killed Arthur Smothers and Kathleen Mulklin with a hate. How can I say Mulklin, but I can't say Meredith, anyways. With a high power rifle, was a couple walking across Washington Street Bridge in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Smothers was black, McCauley was white, and on that day of the murder, Franklin took a concealed position in the wooden hillside overlooking downtown Johnstown, and waited for the potential target to enter his line of sight. He was later arrested. He was never arrested for these murders, but he confessed to them during a jailhouse interview after he was apprehended. On June 25th, 1980, Franklin used a 44 Ruger pistol to kill 2 hitchhikers, Nancy Cemento and Vicky Duran, 26, and Nancy was 19, in Pocahontas County, West Virginia. He confessed to these crimes in 1997 to an Ohio assistant prosecutor in the course of an investigation in other cases. He said he picked up the white women and decided to kill them after one said she had a black boyfriend. Jacob Beard of Florida was convicted and imprisoned in 1993 on these charges. He was freed in 1999, and a new trial was ordered based on Franklin's confession. This is another time frame where they got the wrong guy and the serial killer killed. Justice not perfect. Sometimes it doesn't get the justice it needs. But anyways, August 20th, 1980, Franklin killed 2 black men, Ted Fields and David Martin, near Liberty Park, located South Lake, Utah. He was tried on federal civil rights charges as well as state first-degree murder charges. And yes, they started doing these are considered hate crimes now, and he should get the extent of the law. He was convicted on both murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. Now, following the 2 murders in Utah, Franklin returned to the Midwest U.S., traveling through Kentucky. He was detained and questioned regarding a firearm that he was transporting in his car. Franklin fled from this interrogation from authorities, recovered significant evidence from his vehicles to potentially link him to the sniper killings. His conspicuous racist tattoos, coupled with his habits of visiting blood banks, led investigators to issue a nationwide alert to blood banks in October 1980. The tattoos drew attention of a Florida blood bank worker who contacted the FBI. Franklin was arrested in Lakeland. Lakeland, where? Lakeland, Florida. It's in Polk County. Anyways, on October 28th, 1980, Franklin faced legal actions across the U.S. for 2 decades, eventually being convicted of multiple murders, attacks, and other crimes at both the state and federal level. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and received the death penalty in several states. How, how can you get the death penalty in several states? It's compounded, I guess. That's weird. But anyways, and just sidebar on this one. The reason why they do that, some states have the death penalty and some states don't. California is one of them that doesn't have the death penalty. Texas is one of them that has the death penalty. So if you're convicted in life imprisonment in there is some precedents that that places that don't have the death penalty will not extradite the prisoner because in the state they would be prosecuted do have the death penalty and they don't want the person to die. But sometimes you gotta do an old yeller. Well, old yeller people cared about that dog. No, you gotta put bad dogs down. Franklin tried unsuccessfully to escape during the judgment phase of his 1997 Missouri trial on charges of murdering Gerald Gordon, but was ultimately convicted. Psychologist Dorothy Otto Lewis, who had interviewed him at length, testified for the defense that she believes that he was a paranoid schizophrenic and unfit to stand trial. Lewis noted that his delusions thinking and a childhood history of severe abuse. Now, on the abusive stuff, I mean, I've heard several people that have been abused and everything, but they become better people. It it shouldn't be a defense. I mean, if he was crazy, yes, he should be. I don't know. Stuff like this just it's one of those subjects that at times that you just want to go at and just go, you know what? He did all this stuff. We got to put him down. Anyways, on October 2013, victim Laura Phil called for clemency for Franklin, asserting that a government that forbids killing amongst its citizens should not be in the business of killing people itself. Basically, he's going against the death penalty, which on this one, he should be. Anyways, I digress. Franklin was held on death row in Potsy's. Let's get this right, Stephanie Hawking. Potosi Correctional Center near Mineral Point, Missouri. In August 2013, the Missouri Supreme Court announced that Franklin would be executed on November 20th, 2013. Missouri Attorney General Chris Koster said in a statement that by setting an execution date, the state high court has taken an important step. The state high court has taken an important step to seeing that justice is finally done for the victims and their families. Franklin's execution was affected by the European Union export ban, which is the lethal injection drug. When the German drug manufacturer, I'm not going to be able to say this one. Let Stephanie Hawking do it for me.
Fresenius Kabi
was obligated to refuse having these drugs used for lethal injection. In response, Missouri announced that it would use for Franklin execution a new method of lethal injection, which used a single drug provided an unnamed compounding pharmacy. A date before his execution, U.S. District Judge Natty Laurel.
Lori,
I don't know why I couldn't say that. Natalie Lurie of Jefferson City granted a stay of execution over concerns raising for the new method of execution. A second stay was granted that evening by U.S. District Judge Carl E. Jackson of St. Louis, based on Franklin's claims that he was too mentally incompetent to be executed. Eh, eh. An appeals court quickly overturned his both stays, and the Supreme Court subsequently rejected his final appeals. In an interview with a St. Louis Post-Dispatch newspaper published in November 13th, 2013, Franklin said he has renounced his racist views, and he said his motivation had been illogical, and his partly a consequence of abuses upbringing, and he had interacted with black people in prison, adding some I saw they were people just like us. Jesus. Oh Lord. Okay. Sorry, I hate racism in all forms. And just that's ridiculous. I saw they were people just like us. Anyways, Franklin was executed at the East Recipient Diagnostic Correctional Center in Bone Terry, Missouri on November 20th, 2013. The execution began at 6:07 a.m. Central Time, and he was pronounced dead at 6:17 a.m. It took him 10 minutes to die. I wonder if it was 10 minutes because of how they use the drugs and it's processed through. But anyways, his execution was first lethal injection in Missouri to use Penefit. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this name right.
pentobarbital,
Pentobarbital, along instead of a correctional use of 3 drugs. So it was only just the fentanyl. An Associated Press agency reported that 5 grams, 0.18 ounces of the barbiturates was administered. 3 media witnesses said Franklin did not seem to show pain. He did not make any final written statement and did not speak a word in the death chamber. After the injection, he blinked a few times, breathed heavily a few times, and swallowed hard, the witnesses said. The heavy heaving of his chest slowed, and he finally stopped, they said. Now, there is media on this. Hunter, the 1989 book of a novel by white supremacist William L. Pierce, revolves around protagonist Oscar Yeager, a racist serial killer who murders interracial couples. I guess that's it. Pierce, founder of National Alliance and author of similar themed novels, The Turn Diaries, dedicated the book to Joseph Paul Frank and said that he saw his duty as a white man and did what a responsible son of his race must do. Okay, hold on. Let me say this to where I can. Okay. He said his duty as a white man and did what a responsible son of his race must do. That's just ridiculously stupid. But anyways, he was also portrayed in 1996 film The People versus Larry Franklin, portrayed by Czech actor. I'm gonna get the last part. Jan
Tříska,
Tiska. And 2009, Franklin appeared on MSNBC TV series Criminal Masterscape. Now, let's be candid on it. There's some people out there that are a little bit far gone in the head. And yes, they need to be put down. Some people can't, you know, go out through society because they are far gone, and some people can be rehabilitated, but there's some people out there that are just too far gone and is unhealthy to do that. The reason why I say this is there's a lot of cases. There was one recently about 2 years ago about a guy that killed people, went to prison, got out, and the cops found him with a shopping cart full of another body because he hated the person. And yeah, so some people can't be rehabilitated, but for all those other people, this episode would be on the Halloween weekend. And happy Halloween, everybody! Thank you all for listening. Thank you for all watching. Love you guys. Comment. Tell me I'm horrible. I can't speak very well because that's the only comments I get on these, anyways. But it's still nice to know that people actually comment and watch a little bit. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for all watching.